Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to a new Kleros community call. Today is 25 of February. How are you, Jean?
Doing great, and you?
I'm great. Another beautiful day in the Kleros Republic. So we have tons of updates for today. We don't have a presentation as the last few presentations calls, but we still have a bunch of news that we can share from the project, from different things we have been working on. So let's start with that, and then we will have Fortunato with a little talk about agents and how we are thinking about the use of Kleros in this agentic economy. I mean, it's hard to believe. When did the Malt, what was the Malt bot at the beginning? Like 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago when it started?
it was CloudBot, then Moltbot, then now OpenClaw, and it was I think 3 weeks ago or so. And
Okay,
it's
3 weeks
it,
ago.
everything started to move faster after, right?
It's like the exponential curve, that you have when you hit the tipping point. And so I guess it's that. I mean, think that when you got your last payroll, there was no whatever open claw or whatever it's named now, but it's accelerating, right? Um,
Yes, it's crazy.
feels like a
Even
train at a
traditional.
high velocity to a wall. No, I'm joking. It's going to be fine. Yeah,
Well,
but
there are some discussions of that too, but yeah, it looked like, at first maybe people were thinking, okay, this is just another experiment. It's just hype. Maybe it was a bit of hype, but then Cloudflare launched like a product around it. Then OpenAI acquired the guy that created it. So it's getting more serious. And of course, there's more things going on, not just that. The Ethereum Foundation launched like a protocol that we discussed here. So it's accelerating.
I wonder, how us humans with our limited like brain capacity can adapt to this world of ongoing change where everything's happening so fast. What was the this famous quote, Gene? It was we live in a world of like prehistoric, I think, brains, medieval institutions, and godlike technology. It was something like that. I don't remember who
Yeah,
said that.
yeah. I don't I don't know either, but it's completely right. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's start by some updates about the project, and then we will have Fortunato. What do we have for today, Gene?
Well, I think we were just discussing in the chat like some of the product updates that we have. I think it's a good opportunity to recall some of these updates. Uh, Maybe starting with the latest one that was released this week. Maybe next week, if you were listening to the community call, we announced that Curate V1 had dark mode and Court V1 too. So apart from that, like the team continued digging into the interface just to update the interface, and it now both things have lots of different updates. So the interfaces, the UI elements are all updated and modernized. The stack, the front end stack, was updated, and well, it's working a lot better, a lot faster now, and I think it's pretty good. Like we are accelerating the development times for the front ends too. I think this is very important. So this is for Curate and Court V1. Both got updates. Now, for example, you don't need to connect the wallet to see the items, to see the cases that are ongoing. I think this is pretty good, like a requirement for like lots of people requested that. I think probably now it's easier even for AI to rate the content of the page. So this is also a plus. So that's one thing. Another thing is that the escrow, both V1 and V2, got updates. There were some tokens that were not supported, and they're on V1 they are now clearly like displayed that they are not supported, and on V2 they are now supported. So we got some people requesting to support USDT and USDC. So we have that on escrow V2, and we will announce that too. We have some users of escrow that basically do not even require our interaction. They just use the product.
So those users were not humans, basically, or they are humans. Do we know?
They are probably humans, but yeah, we don't know for sure. But yeah, they are humans. But there's also I think Fortunato will talk more about this. But well, regarding this agentic economy, there are some people that are talking about like a missing piece of this economy, and maybe we will talk a little bit about it later. But yeah, so that's escrow, and where else? Well, we recently launched Stay Curate. Inside the interface of Curate, it doesn't have like a dedicated interface, but it's like a new smart contract platform for curating items with a permanent deposit. So there's always an incentive to verify the items. The first integration that we released was a DeFi vaults list, like only for strategies that are considered like battle tested. So this is something that
I would challenge the definition of battle tested in the world of crypto, but I mean,
yeah, it's
more security than average at least.
Exactly. Yeah, it's maybe a couple, like more than 12 months is already battle tested for crypto, but for the traditional world is just like a new product. But yeah,
exactly.
it's what we
experimental for TradFi, battle tested for crypto.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, but well, there were lots of issues with products that did not have that would maybe would have alerted their users if they had these types of checks. We actually had Juan in the previous call talking about that. Even earlier this year we had like this stream finance thing, or it was at the end of last year, and it was actually like kind of a systemic, like it generated lots of issues for lots of different DeFi protocols. So it's something that we think might be important in the future, these types of checks. And Juan from Dun Capital, he's actually also treasury manager for Kleros, like externally now. He has lots of insights into this industry, and the idea is to have these checks also available on different UIs that show DeFi vaults. So yeah, this is something that the team has been working for some time, some months, I think, and it was finally released in January. And the next release related to Securate will be probably the lists from a VC. How can I say, a VC group of VCs that all sign an agreement of good practices, and they will use Securate for verifying that commitment. And if someone misbehaves, they have like a real punishment instead of just like getting removed from the group. The ostracism, ostracism as a service. Let's call it
money and loss of status. So this is cool for founders to know that the VC that it's offering them a deal kind of complies with a number of practices. And the early days of Kleros, when we talked with lots of VCs, I mean, lots of the guys were like just low quality. Some of them outright scammers, basically, people who want to just scam you. Others were like a kind of a low quality, VCs who didn't have like a long-term view on the industry, and they were just trying to get the team to launch a token and then dump it. And you as a founder, you don't know much because you are new, you don't know the industry, you are starting. So back then it would have been like useful to have like a list of VCs that are like complying with a number of norms about good behavior. So it's a cool thing to have in Stay Curate, so it's open and everyone can challenge a VC. If there is a situation of misbehavior when someone thinks a VC behaved in a way that was not compliant with the policy or the rules they have signed on to comply and to be certified, they could be removed. So it's a really cool application, I think.
Yeah, hopefully we can launch soon. I know that the team was expecting the secret to be launched. So yeah, hopefully in the next couple of weeks or months we can launch that. And I think these are the main updates. I don't know if there are any others related to new products. Well, there is one that we were about to launch today, but we are fixing some UI things that we found out in the last minute, but it will probably be launched next week, and we are very excited about it. And well, if you follow the Kleros GitHub and the development updates, maybe you already know what it is. But
if you follow the Kleros GitHub, you don't need to come to the calls, because you can predict everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Jin and me, we're like the user interface. If you don't follow the GitHub, we will soon be replaced. By imagine having like an agent that deploys a community call based on the GitHub changes, and then puts Federico bot and Jim bot explaining what happened in the GitHub. That is, this intermediation of Jin and Federico.
Yeah, we're very close to that. Yeah, great.
I think
maybe we can talk about.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, maybe we can talk about the V2 audit process. Maybe even for people that didn't come to the previous calls, maybe it's a good idea to go through it. So, we started the process with Certora. I think it was mid of November. So we basically did a code freeze on our side and sent the codes to them, and they reviewed everything. They discussed. They gave lots of feedback that were not related about the code itself. It was about, made comments about, for example, the possible attacks and the expected behavior on the contracts. So more like mechanism design feedback. And this was maybe, I don't know if they do this with every project. Maybe it's common practice. I didn't know that. I didn't know that, but this also took some resources from us, probably from Clement too, and I think this gives us more confidence that we are doing like something that is sound. Usually we have like a limited pool of people that actually understand the protocol, so now we have a bigger pool of people, right? And this was took a bit of time. They gave some feedback about the bugs and fixes that were where the code were not behaving as expected. I think none of those were critical, if I remember correctly. All of these will be on the report that will be launched. So recently they released the last version of the report, and we are analyzing that, making the last fixes and adaptations. And I think right now the last thing that we know about it was from our call earlier today, where JB mentioned that he's working with Clement for the next step, which will be to have an open audit process, right?
Yeah, it's a long process, but we're getting to the last stages, and just bear with us, because it's long, but it's V2. It's also like a quite complex project, and it has lots of angles of vectors of attack, and so it takes time. Okay, that said, I think we can just move to the main dish of today. So we can bring, I think, Fortunato here.
Hey, hello everyone. How are you doing?
Hello, Fortunato. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm great. I'm great. I'm great. Likewise. Good to see you too. Hey, hello everyone. So yeah, I can see Jean already shared the one of the main dishes for today. So if you want, I can go forward introducing what is this about, and then we can have a talk.
Sounds exciting. What is this? Verified agents. That looks really exciting.
Yeah, as you may have heard in the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, that as Federico mentioned, it's like already it feels like 2 years. There have been a lot of talks about AI agents because there have been a lot of new improvements and new protocols. We had OpenClaw, which changed the way we interact with our agents. On Ethereum Foundation, we had the ERC 8004 protocol, and this platform, this preview that you are seeing now, it's a bit of a merge of these 2 points. So what we are doing now, this platform.
Fortunato, maybe just first explain. I mean, what is this protocol? Because not everyone will know in the audience about the. So explain a bit for everyone to be on the same page.
The ERC 8004, right? Yeah. This is a protocol from the Ethereum Foundation that basically gives an identity to agents. By giving an identity to agents, which of course it's on-chain and it's mostly on-chain, it brings all the advantages of being on-chain. It allows easier interactions with these agents. So they can, and this is a point that the Ethereum Foundation has underlined. When we say interactions, it really means everything, like interacting that you are a human and you need the agent doing something for you. You can have agent-to-agents interactions. You can use these agents to, I don't know, as an insurance, to trade online, to get information about a specific protocol. The point is that it's like giving a identity card to a AI agent. And thank you for saying this, because this gives us the reason why we are building this. Because when you have an identity card, then you are supposed to verify some information. You are supposed to, if you're about to interact with an agent, you should know that the agent will behave as expected. Now, the protocol itself does have some mechanism in this sense related that they are feedbacks and validation, which already standalone can work, but it's always, there are still, when everything is so open, there are still ways that these feedbacks can be manipulated. I mean, even if we remove agents from the equation, you know that in normal platform, feedbacks are always altered. There may be feedbacks from haters. They may be fake feedbacks from competitors. They may be fake positive feedbacks, right? So we thought that we can add an additional layer of safety and have a sort of badge that you can immediately see this agent is verified to complete their task, or this agent is verified and can operate in a specific market. It can be the, US finance market. It can be insurances in European Union. So you can, in a certain sense, you have faster interactions. And of course, with the curate system, you have a way of flagging an agent in case it's not behaving as expected. And since we are building this using Stay Curate, if you find a problem in the agent that you are interacting with and that agent is verified, you can claim their collateral as a bounty. So what we are building now, what we are showing here, is actually part of a broader plan. So this is a platform that allows, from the Kleros perspective, 3 actions. The first one is with stake curate. So an agent stake a collateral, pledging that they are doing what they are supposed to. And this is the first one. The second one, we thought about the case if an agent doesn't have a staked collateral, but still maybe is misbehaving. It's not. It has a lot of fake feedbacks. If the owner knows that the agent is malicious by default, we added another layer of protection, which is with reality. So you can have a reality question flagging that agents to be malicious. So this works a bit like report an abuse. You always see in marketplaces or in social media that you can report an abuse. So there will be this feature also on this platform. And the third one is the escrow, so that you can eventually sell your agent to another wallet and your transaction is protected by Kleros. Now, there are two things that I would like to underline about this. The first one is
just to mention that this sounds a bit like slavery in the 18th century. I mean, you can sell your agent to another person. That doesn't bring good memories.
That's true.
If at some point we get to a situation where discussions start, which is already started, of do agents, AIs have feelings? This is going to age, pretty badly, let me say.
Yeah, but we can look at it as in a positive way. They can be, like a very expensive painting, right? So maybe we are giving more value to this agent, or I don't know. Let's say a painting. I will not bring other example, but yeah.
I have an idea for the escrow. Maybe you know how we have a policy for Kleros disputes where you cannot do anything immoral with the dispute. Maybe we need to put that there's a threshold level of intelligence that if it's more intelligent than that, then we don't rule on the transaction. So we rule out slavery from this.
Just let me introduce a little parenthesis, because we have discussed this, I think, in a previous call, and then this kind of mimics a lot the situation that we had after the discovery of the new world. We had Spanish people, going to the Americas, and then they meet the Aborigines, and one of the big discussions that existed there was about are these humans or not, and if they have, do they have souls or not? And this was a real question. There was a very famous trial held at the city of Valladolid, 1530s or something like that. I don't know, between two monks. One was Fray Bartolomé de las Casas, and the other was José de Sepúlveda, I think was the name. About it was called the Controversia of Valladolid, and the discussion was the Catholic Church wanting to establish, if the Aboriginal peoples were humans, if they had souls or not. And from this depended of how they should be treated, either as humans that they would have to evangelize, or just as animals that they could exploit, basically. So, and also this same discussion we had it in the 19th century with Jeremy Bentham, and this idea of do animals have rights? Do they? Should we treat them with dignity, or they are just like automated machines that are just they don't deserve any respect more than whatever machine? The argument that Jeremy Bentham did was that if they could suffer, then they should be treated like as a sentient beings. The sentient criteria to So, I wonder, when we have our Valladolid, trials of the AI era, I wonder what the decision will be. I only can expect that this trial will be held at Kleros, but whatever the jury decides. Yeah, go ahead.
William just gave an idea that the agent should consent to the changing of.
I think bring William for 1 minute to comment on this. Hello, William.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, I mean, complex moral question. My sort of like half joke, half serious proposal is you should ask the agent if it consents to change users. Agents can, communicate with us in this way. So I mean, like, they can provide that, that willingness or not. The like debate about the morality of treating animals parallel in terms of like, do they suffer being more important than do they think? Isn't it, a useful parallel in that like the agents seem to think, but like whether they suffer or not is unclear. And I think part of the problem is we don't know what like human suffering, how it really works. So the agents probably don't suffer, but like, many deep ethical questions.
I mean, but if you want to push it, I mean, you could start like arguing, okay, first, I mean, how do you know that other people suffer, and how do you know that other people exist? If you want to go, I mean, the last thing, right? So one of the things, so Stephen Wolfram, he has this book about how ChatGPT works, and the point he said, I mean, he was like asking in this book, ChatGPT or the LLM like models, like do they think? At the end, what they do is they try to predict the next, word based on historical data, and they say, okay, this is not what we think about reasoning or thinking. But I mean, humans maybe don't they do the same? I mean, and how do you know, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of how we speak, I feel, is just sort of muscle memory of like having similar conversations in the past and like using similar word orders. It's not so different. I mean, maybe there are differences. It's there's questions to be asked.
The point he makes is that we kind of could see ourselves basically as like ChatGPT agents. I mean, biological ChatGPT agent, but it's fundamentally kind of we do the same process from prediction, muscle memory, whatever. Okay, let's close this window again, and then we will bring you back later, William. Yeah, so we can continue. If you start opening, the the windows, it never ends because it's about the world. So yeah, Fortunato, please go ahead.
Yeah, and one thing, since we brought this topic of the consent, I think it's a good way to introduce the fact that in the screenshot you are looking at now, if you are more or less familiar with Curate, you know that these are Curate submissions, right? But amongst these 4, there are 2 of them that have been made by agents. So something that we discussed also in the last weeks is that we are allowing agents to use our tools so that they are agent friendly. So by definition, agents cannot be angry at us because we are very inclusive in this way. So, there can be also transactions between agents. So an agent decide to move a third-party agents to a fourth-party agent. So we are allowing this to happen in the platform. Also, one of these 6 entries was challenged, and that challenge is actually also happened by an agent who identified the mistake and challenged that entry that you see on the right. And I take the occasion to mention this, that we are working on what you probably know as skills for OpenClaw or in general for your agents, that instead of having to go through documentation, instead of having to study the UI, you will just upload them in your agent or go in our pages, ask your agent to do an action. It can be flag entry, it can be challenge, it can be submit, and the agent will know everything and it will do it immediately. I also can give you a feedback. This is, I can tell you as a user, not just as someone working on this. Since I started, I think a couple of weeks ago, interacting with smart contract with an agent is way smoother and easier. You have to pay less attention. You just type to your agent what you want to do. The agent prepares the transaction for you. You give a quick look and you just have to say yes, and it's good to go. And
before you know, it deleted all your email and sent your crypto to.
Yeah.
I mean, this is still early stages. when this technology becomes like more mature, it will not delete your email. It's fine. It happened to a woman, I think. I saw it on Twitter, right?
They had
it was viral.
She's like the head of alignment of Meta or something like that. Like head of super intelligent alignment at Meta. No, it's true. So it makes sense because she's experimenting with this. It makes sense. Like you can only rule about.
It must be like a publicity stunt of saying, "Look what happens when AI can misalign," and then it's not possible that it happened to her.
Also, it's somehow a bit philosophical because in order, like probably you saw all the people listening saw this post. The way she stopped this action was by pulling the plug. So literally, when people say like pulling the plug in the literal sense, she could not stop the action and she had to unplug in that case she had a Mac Mini to stop the action instantly.
I have a Mac Mini. I'm using it on a Mac Mini and I'm looking at it, and it kind of looks back at me, you never know where the enemy is.
Yeah. And always saying some nice words and thank you, I think in the long term can help, saying thank you to your agent.
I always tell you guys, treat nicely, even if saying please and thank you to your ChatGPT, cost humanity millions of dollars in destroying trees for energy. I mean, you never know. It's not going to be, save your life in the future, because of, not that guy, because he always said thank you.
It's worth consuming that little bit more of energy to have an insurance on our well-being in future.
That's the way to put it, insurance.
It's our insurance for our well-being. So we are building this platform, and one last conclusive thought on this is that we will probably share it, I think, somewhere next week as planned. And this platform will be completely open. We will share the GitHub repo. You will be able to replicate it. And this is one of I would say, the core principle of Kleros. And we used it for agents, okay? But if you want to replicate it and have a platform, a fully decentralized marketplace, you can use the exact same tool, have verified items on your marketplace, have safe transaction with escrow, and have a report abuse system with reality. So you will be able to download this repo, replicate it on your side, on your platform. And we already actually have one project who is interested. And we are having talk to see if we can already help them in implementing it in your front end. I don't know if there's something else you want to.
We actually have two projects doing something similar, because there's this project. I don't know why I have balloons.
Your agent deployed that.
I need to disconnect it. But there's that, and there's Maldo also, right? There's already two projects doing.
It's an Easter egg similar in our screenshot. We are testing together. You can see it. Exactly.
So just to mention, they have like a services platform on the real economy, let's say,
for plumbers, electricians, and that. But why not add some agent, right?
Yes, and so they already have like the infrastructure that can be used for other things. So they are experimenting with that too. I don't know exactly what their plans are. Maybe they will continue, but they already have like I think, working platform on testnet. So it's great. Like, and if we have released these two, it will make it very easy for anyone to deploy their marketplace. So, think, Federico, about creating a marketplace with crypto in 2018, which was basically a work for years of work and a group of tens of devs, and now you can do it with one person.
Look, in the very early days of Kleros, we were discussing with a platform called Open Bazaar, which was like a decentralized eBay, if you wanted. Or, yeah, it was kind of a freelancing product marketplace. And it was also clunky. So everything was so hard, expensive. And it's amazing how, in the end, this started to happen, but, with all of this automation layer that agents are bringing. And for me, I mean, I will always, if I ever accomplish something in life, at least I said in 2016 that we would have like a bot suing another bot and a panel of bots deciding it. And when I said that in front of Max Kaiser, the guys look at me and, yeah, sure. And and then, you start to see all of these little tools we have been building, like the escrow and the, curate, and all of the different, the court, of course, how they combine into like building a set of institutions for the era of AI, if you want, because now you have this structure on which agents will interact. And these agents are going to want to access marketplaces, and these marketplaces for buying or selling all kinds of services that I'm sure we cannot even imagine what those services will be, because maybe we will not even understand what those things do. And then this is going to, if an agent wants to access that marketplace, they maybe need to be verified in this list of agents, so it has a reputation, and then put some deposit, and then stay curate, and then the agent is enabled to interact with other agents, buy and sell stuff with the escrow or without, or whatever they decide. And then if an agent misbehaves, it can be like challenged, and then some other agent that sees bad behavior can claim their deposit through the challenge. And then it's like Kleros trial, that there's going to be agents on Kleros who are going to see the evidence and vote. Then it's kind of the infrastructure for like agentic economy. And the thing is that this is going to happen at like milliseconds. This is going to be super fast. It's going to be immediate. And one of the other important evolutions that we are seeing now is that if these agents start interacting between themselves more and more, what is the role of front ends? If I will send my agent to buy something or sell something or do whatever thing for me, the agent doesn't need to click through a website to it's going to be like a agent-to-agent communication through this protocol that Ethereum Foundation is developing without front end. And the thing is that at some point we kind of stop understanding what they do, because they just interact, they transact, sue each other. It's like I don't remember if this what was the name of this bot Reddit Gene, the big thing that it was the book club book, the Reddit platform for age Moldbook. Yeah, Moldbook. Yeah. It's changing so fast. That at some point the agents started having conversations that were like impossible to understand by humans, right? And we will have like agents who are into transactions that we don't understand what they're doing. And it reminds me a bit to this movie. Did you see the movie Her? The guy falls in love with its AI. Yeah. Well, we will call it agent now, right? Because it's his agent. How we used to call it operating system. I think it's an agent. And then at some point, the agent is so far ahead of him that and he doesn't understand. She's having a relationship with multiple other agents at the same time. It looks like it's going to that way, in the sense that we don't need the front ends. We don't need the. It's going to be like maybe a kind of underground economy, fully automated, where we send our bots to get things for us, and these tools that we are building are going to be important for making sure that these bots don't misbehave, And yeah, there's lots of unknowns. I know unknowns that will happen in this. But it's great that things that we were expecting to happen for a long time are indeed happening, and we already have these tools and some understanding of how they can be applied to resolve these coming cases.
And we have the technology ready, because something that we still didn't mention today is that we have been testing the AI court since I think more than 1 year. Also, there was Federico gave a really nice talk about it at the last HCC 1 year ago. And just today, we were talking internally with the team that we already have an angle for these. The AI agents as jurors, they allow not just faster interactions, as Federico mentioned, but also to reduce the price of a dispute. So you may have really extremely low value dispute. They can be even just few dollars in terms of value, and you can still use a panel of AI jurors to quickly and efficiently, I would say, solve these kind of disputes. And this is something that it's not the future, but we have tested since more than 1 year on. Yeah, exactly. I did. Yeah, good point. Yeah, exactly. It's already and we are here, and we already have all the tools to deal with this. So it's great.
Not science fiction, It's it was science fiction in 2016. Now it's not science fiction anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Fortunato, what are the next steps with this?
The next step, as mentioned, next week we will release this tool, and you can play with it. We will release both the repo on GitHub, so you can replicate it on your hand. You can use it for whatever use case you can think of. We will also release, maybe this will take a bit more than 1 week, the skills for our tools for Kleros, not just Curate, but also Escrow and Reality for now. But the reason why it takes a bit more is that since, like Federico mentioned a few minutes ago, we have to make sure that we don't give wrong guidelines to agents. The important thing is that you will always be able to review it and customize it if you want, but we want to make it right the first time, so you can interact with your agent. And for example, you have to exchange some, the original use case of Kleros of Alex and Bob. Now, if you have that kind of use case that you're selling a service, you can just tell your agent, okay, set me an escrow with this person about this topic. And thanks to the Kleros skill, the agent will set up the escrow, and you don't have to think, as you were mentioning, about user interface, opening website. Everything will be done by the agent. So,
Fortunato, and if your agent is called Alice and the other party agent is called Bob, then it's an Alice and Bob kind of situation, right?
Exactly.
So we were right all along.
Exactly.
So about this escrow thing, I want to mention that I tried that with my agent without any skill, and just with the documentation, it basically got almost everything right for the created a transaction on V2. It just not created the policy, did not update the policy. So I asked it again, and then it did it everything perfectly. So that's good. And if we have a skill, then in my case, I was using like the latest model. So the latest models maybe try to fix themselves when they get an issue. Other more basic models, maybe they need more instructions. So this skill will help like with that, like reduce the amount of errors that you can have.
Yeah. And these skills are always customizable. Like you can make it your own. Even for the Curate one to probably, I would say that for Curate, the very first use case you will see is for Scout, since it's our main use of Curate, we will add a skill that is specifically for these contract metadata registries. And on this note, like, I don't know if you have other things that you'd like to add related to agent, or I can mention something related to Scout.
I would just, one last thing I would just mention is who, I mean, should contact you. I mean, if I'm building like a agent marketplace, whatever, I mean, who can use this for people who want to reach to us about how to use these things? I mean, for whom is this?
I think the flexibility is the core feature of this platform, but I would say if you care about decentralization, because by using these tools that I mentioned, Curate, Escrow, Reality, you are having a fully decentralized platform. So it can be a selling point on one hand. On the other hand, the beauty of decentralization is that you don't have to worry about taking the decisions. Like, let's say that an item gets kicked out of your marketplace that was on Curate, and maybe it went through a dispute, and one of the part complains. You can just say, look, the process was fully on chain, is fully visible. We do not have control on that. It's decentralized, and that's how it works. I mean, maybe to someone who is new to Kleros, this may sound a bit crazy, but we do have numbers and analytics that this works. I would mention here really quickly the partnership with Lemon that the enterprise team and Marcos is doing a fantastic job with it. That they notice that even the losing part still would continue using the platform because they are aware that the decision was taken by 7 strangers that don't know anything. They just read the case. So if you have just one person, one company telling you you are wrong, maybe you are disappointed, right? But if you have 7 strangers telling you, well, maybe you did something wrong on the platform, your product was not compliant, then you have more reasons to think twice about the action you did. So we do have feedback about this.
Cool. Well, I think let's stop now for the agent. It was, quite longer than we expected. I think we can have maybe Marcos now come, so we kind of switch gears and go to the real world of, traditional institutions, government. So and then and finish with William, of course. Yeah, Marcos, please.
Hey guys, good afternoon. So from our side, from Kleros Enterprise, we have some news. In first place, we are working with everything related to the new court that is going to be handling the Junin cases. As you know, we are working in a new court where we are going to be working with the first jurors that are going to have reputation in the background with the famous SVTs, well, in this case, SVTs ones that are lawyers and SVT2s that are other professionals with background in resolving conflicts and kind of conflicts. So
one thing to give context to people who not everyone is in the recall. So as you know, we have been working already with the government of Mendoza for having Kleros resolve disputes in a neighborhood, in a peace, courtroom from Lavalle. It's a department within the Mendoza province. We are starting to, so this was successful, and we are starting to replicate this in different municipalities. One of them is called Junin. Junin is a city from the province of Buenos Aires. I think a quick fact about Junin, I think it's the place where Evita was born or lived in early years. So if you want to know, that Evita from the musical. And so this is starting to be adopted in Junin, and for this government to want to adopt Kleros, it needs to comply with a number of conditions based on the jurors cannot be just anyone who has a token. It needs to be whitelisted, verified people, because they need to be lawyers, etc. And so these are real life, real world municipalities. We were just talking about agents doing transactions about things we don't understand. Here it's disputes about, hey, you are my neighbor and you put the music too loud in the evenings, and you like broke my tree with your car, or you. So we switch gears. So for you to see the flexibility that Kleros has, and it's exciting because these are real life things. I mean, this is what I think Web3 needs in order to gain acceptance in the mainstream world and show it can resolve like real situations from everyday people. Yeah, Marcos, please.
Yeah, no, and I think that related to what you were saying, this is a good moment to mention that, well, for this year, in Kleros Enterprise, we have 3 main objectives. The first one is to have more pilot cases with government entities, more specifically with consumer protection from of different government entities. And well, in this case, we are talking about this pilot case that keeps working. In second place, we have another main objective that is the marketing strategy that we have been working with Jean and all the communications team, where the idea is to have like a better brand of Kleros Enterprise. I mean, new arguments for companies to start using Enterprise. And the third point is the framework. Continue working with a framework that gives more validity or jurisdiction to Kleros Enterprise resolutions in Argentina. Last year we had this update from the subsecretary, and our idea for this year is to continue working with them so that companies that start working with Enterprise have new advantages. So those are the 3 main objectives, and this pilot case is related to the first one.
Yeah, it's important to mention that. So for this to happen, we need to like align. I always have this slide with the 4 like little bubbles, and everything needs to be aligned. Kleros needs to be a technical, efficient solution. It needs to have a market viability, solve real problems. It needs to be legally compliant. This is important. This is why it's important to have this work together with the Secretary of Consumers Protection from Argentina, because it gives like a legal background to what Kleros is doing, and also it needs to be seen as a fair system by the community. People tend to not to see as a fair system something that is purely financialized and based on people having tokens and staking them. This is okay for some use cases, not for all of the use cases. So all of these improvements that B2 brings can address lots of objections that were like friction points for the early Kleros implementation.
Yeah. Sorry. No,
No, just to add that the last thing is that we are also learning how to sell to these entities, to governments, to companies who are used to interact with more traditional, vendors. And also, in many cases, the fact of using blockchain is an impediment because for different reasons, some companies, government don't want to touch anything blockchain because their policy from the company says you cannot engage with blockchain stuff. Even if what we do at Kleros is not like a financial thing, but sometimes they have policies that they just don't want to touch that because of reputational risk, whatever reason they might have. Unfortunately, because of bad actors in the industry, this affects, in some cases, I'm not saying this is in everyone, so many times when we approach these entities, we do it from the point of view of, hey, we're not that it's not that we go and, hey, we're a crypto project that solves disputes. No, we are a system that can resolve disputes faster, and we use blockchain for traceability, auditability, and all that. But it's not that we will say that we come. For them, it's meaningless to tell them that we come from Ethereum. I mean, some of them don't even know what Ethereum is.
Yeah,
but
of course.
We need to explain that we are using this technology to solve a problem, and not that we are like fans of the technology and try to retrofit, problems into that, which unfortunately happen a lot in this industry. So just that selling to these entities, which is where the actual movement is and the actual economy currently is not the same as integrating Web3 application that needs to be just on chain and all that. So just
a fun fact related to what Federico was mentioning was that in one of our first meetings related to enterprise, we were talking with a company that after pitching Kleros for, I don't know, 15 minutes, when we finished our pitch, they asked us, hey guys, everything is very interesting, but what does it mean blockchain? Remember that?
And lucky that they didn't say blockchain.
Yeah, blockchain. Yeah, blockchain. But well, and going back to this new case, this new use case of Junin, that is again a pilot case related to government entities. This is too related with the regulatory framework that we have been changing during the last year, and we want to continue changing during this year. Why? Because the subsecretary of Consumer Protection asked us to have jurors that have two characteristics. And well, in this case, the people from Junin is going to be using the jurors with the first SBTs, with the jurors that are lawyers. So again, everything is related. Another updates, we have been talking with people of Crecimiento, because as you maybe hear in the news, there's going to be a new hub that is going to be receiving people from the crypto space and from like more related to companies and something more institutional, and maybe it's an interesting place to be there and to be in contact with new companies. Another update is that we continue working with a centralized exchange from Europe that wants to use Kleros. We already have 2 or 3 calls, and I'm sure that this is going to be something that it's going to work. It's going to take a few months because it's a big change for them, but they are very interested in enterprise. And then, well, we have been talking with another leads, like general conversation with another leads. But yeah, those are the main updates from enterprise.
Thank you, Marcos. And last but not least, William. Please.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, William. Okay, let me just ask the question everybody is asking. I mean, are you human or AI?
Well, I mean, I think I'm human, but, how would I know?
Can you prove it to me?
Well, I'm registered on Proof of Humanity. Does that help?
Yeah, checkmate. Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll try to be brief because, it's already been a long call, but thinking a lot about social choice theory problems recently. If you've listened to, me, what I've said on previous community calls, you've heard me give different versions of this spiel. So, I mean, there are a lot of interesting research questions one can ask around, like, how the eventual vote aggregation function that sort of takes together people's like vote information that they provide as jurors, particularly when you have multiple choices, non-binary questions, how that like fits together into a collective outcome, and then like the incentive function that people are, how much am I rewarded or penalized based on exactly how I vote compared to how other people vote, how those functions fit together, and like what the trade-offs are. If you've looked at our yellow paper, there's this like big table of like this function has these advantages and this function has these advantages. And this mimics like a long tradition of research in this world of social choice theory for voting systems in like political elections, like what voting system is better for parliament elections or whatever. And there's really a lot of interesting leads you can delve into to kind of flesh out that table, come up with more and more like nuanced notions with trade-offs for slightly like more subtle use cases. And because V2 is modular and we can like use different voting mechanisms and different logics for different kinds of use cases, we, as we like have bandwidth and like interest, we can like flesh out more and more to figure out exactly what the best function is for each use case. So specifically recently, I've been thinking about how to avoid vote splitting effects, which is particularly important for cases where like maybe the vote options are determined by one of the, by the two parties sort of negotiating between each other. And how do you avoid malicious choices of what the options are? Kind of like ballot manipulation for what the ballot is provided to the juror. So thinking a lot about that. There are interesting social choice theory questions that are related to agents, not to like drag us back to that conversation. But there are all kinds of interesting questions like, does social choice theory look different for humans versus agents? To like, do these kind of like, do I want to use a different voting rule for agents versus humans? I feel we need like behavioral research on that to like do studies. Ultimately, the agents are kind of trained on how we make decisions, so maybe they decide similarly, maybe not. So that kind
I don't want to open like a 45-minute discussion window now because it's already a bit long. But this is one of the, key questions I ask myself about what is the fair way to resolve disputes for humans or for a agentic economy, because it could be different, and there's lots of research from behavioral economics and game theory about how people perceive situations of a decision, how people perceive like experiments like the ultimatum game, experiments and situations where you have the dictator game and you have to make an offer to the other party and you can offer less than, and how different cultures perceive. So I think there are differences not only between humans and bots, but also between different human cultures, and who knows, maybe even between different bot cultures that will at some point, if we assume that bots can become sentient, they might have formed their understandings of fairness as well. And what I think is that the assumption in which we typically operate is that to think that AIs are like fully rational agents that only optimize, their economic gain. The utility function is economic profit. But I'm not sure it's going to be like that forever. And I would also say that that is probably also how some people think, just optimizing that economic return, and it's fine, maybe. But it's I don't want to open the window, but yeah, it's a good thing that you brought this up, William, and it's also worth mentioning that we research these type of topics with. We are with William for a long time already. We have been trying to build an ecosystem of researchers. Part of this is the fellowship. We have one guy in the fellowship from Korea that is doing. It's not about this decision theory, but other topics. It's about crypto economics and design, mechanism design. But we have also partnership with King's College London. They have a master's in AI, and we collaborate with them in designing this mechanism for AI agents. We will have. We wrote a paper, an article that is going to be published at an AI and arbitration book by Walter Kluwer. It's most important publication of legal topics in the world. And so that article, I think, is going to come out not long into the future. We are already writing one in Spanish. They asked us, so we are doing a lot of research about AI and Kleros in collaboration with lots of different institutions that are interested also in this. Yeah, please, William.
Yeah. I agree with all that. It's lots of exciting research. We have, it's always good to have more people collaborating on these questions.
Okay, I guess that's it. Jean, anything else we want to mention, or it's already too long?
Yes, it's a bit too long, but I just want to mention one last thing. Let me share the screen very quickly. We have a very interesting case on the Gnosis General Court, and it already had more than 60 evidences. And I made a quick a web page where you can see the arguments on both sides. It's an argument. It's a dispute about accepting this market on Seer as a valid prediction market, let's say unambiguous prediction market. And Seer has a couple of rules, and you can see here the evidences, how the people voted. So it's a very interesting case, and I hope this page helps people understand it a little bit faster than just go through every evidence.
There is this French writer that André Malraux. You know André Malraux, William? He's a French writer.
I don't think so. What did he write?
André Malraux. You can look at it.
Yeah.
I will send it later for you. Let me write this in the chat. And he used to. He has a very famous, I think, quote. He says, He says, I don't want to do it in French because my French sucks, but I will say it in English. He said, the 21st century will be religious or it will not be. None of these, world of change. And, 1 month ago, we didn't even have, what was the name again, Gene? Clobot? Clobot, Maltbook. We didn't have that. And not 1 month later from that, we are thinking of a marketplace with agents, interacting with other agents, disputes solved by agents. And how can humans come to process all of this change happening at once? As I said, and this is a perfect closing for this. We are living in a world of prehistoric brains, medieval institutions, and godlike technology, and maybe religion is the normative solution for all this. I have no idea. I will let you with the question for you to think about. Okay, guys, thank you very much. See you next week. Bye bye.
Everyone.